Hi guys, my name is Claudia and I'm a dog nutritionist, and today we're going to talk about switching your dog from kibble to fresh food. So when it comes down to you switching your dog from kibble to fresh food, over time when you switch your dog, you're obviously going to notice a lot of benefits, such as a shinier coat. The poops will be less stinky as well, and they might even be a bit smaller. Your pet would overall be a lot happier. You will see in the condition of their fur, you would see that they're not scratching as much anymore as long as you have your allergies under control. So a lot of those are really good benefits of switching your dog to fresh food. And nowadays, a lot more people are talking about switching from kibble to fresh food. So let's talk about the transitioning methods. There are two transitioning methods. You have the gradual and you have the cold turkey, we would call it. So with the gradual one, you would do it over a couple of days to a couple of weeks. Sometimes some dogs even take a couple of months to change into a fresh food diet. You would start with basically replacing 5% of their kibble with the fresh food. And over a couple of days, you would change it to 10%, 15, 25, 50%, depending on how well your dog is adjusting. And because we're doing a gradual transition, the dog's stomach and the dog's gut is able to learn how to digest that food properly instead of having a really upset stomach. A lot of the times, if you have a dog that has a very sensitive stomach, I always recommend using probiotics at the same time as transitioning, and a little bit after the transition as well, just so their gut has that little bit of extra help with their transition. But probiotics are very good with transitioning. I myself used probiotics just because it gives the dog an extra boost. And then with cold turkey, I only suggest cold turkey if you have a puppy or if you have a very active dog. So with a puppy, they obviously haven't been exposed to too many foods yet. So going cold turkey might actually be a good idea, but obviously some puppies might not even be good with cold turkey, and you have to do it slowly as well. So with active dogs, obviously you would have something like a Labrador, let's say, that eats a lot of different varieties of food. They're not really fussy with foods at all. And once you transition them cold turkey, they might do very well on the cold turkey. But there comes some benefits and risks with going cold turkey. So when it comes down to the detox phase, when you're going gradually, you would gradually see that your dog is detoxing from obviously the chemicals and the synthetic vitamins that were in the kibble. And they might have, a little bit more discharge in their ears, and they might shed a lot more than they normally would, just, getting rid of the old fur. And they might even have a little bit of mucus in their stool, which is perfectly fine. But when you're going cold turkey, the detox phase would kind of hit your dog out of nowhere, and they might just not feel that great during that detox phase instead of it going gradually. So with cold turkey, they would have the mucus in their stool. They might even have a little bit more loose stools as well. They would start shedding out of nowhere. They would start having discharge in their ears. And some people might be like, oh no, my dog is having allergies, I can't give them that protein. But don't confuse that with allergies and with detoxing. Because when you're transitioning your dog to fresh food from kibble, the detox phase looks really similar to allergy issues, but it's not. So some tips for transitioning that I always talk to about to my client would be to transition with one thing at a time. So if your dog has never been on fresh food or raw food or cooked food, let's start with something simple, such as chicken or beef or turkey, and then you can gradually add the organ meat. Then you can gradually add all the other stuff that you would have in raw or cooked food. And over time, once your dog is fully transitioned, then you have a full balanced meal over time in their bowl. And that way your dog will be happy. And especially for dogs that are fussy, dogs that might not really know what to do with a bone the first time they get it, or might not really know what to do with fresh food the first time get it. That way, if you're going one by one, introducing one ingredient at a time, it gives them that kind of confidence whenever they're starting to eat new food, that they can try it, and if they don't like it, then you just try something new with them. So what are some symptoms that you wouldn't confuse with a detox phase? So if your dog is really not doing on fresh food because you might be going too fast or they actually do have allergies, they might have stuff like vomiting, really bad diarrhea. That's not just a loose stool, but it's actually like very watery and it just comes out really quickly. Or with the vomiting and the diarrhea, they might also have blood in their stool. And with the detox phase, it's okay to have mucus in the stool, but if the mucus is accompanied by blood, then we do need to go to a vet and we need to rule out anything that might be wrong, especially if your dog, suffers with IBD, if they suffer with anything with their intestines. And like I said, doing probiotics, prebiotics, stuff like that while transitioning would really reduce that amount of the detox and even side effects from switching to fresh food. But let's not make it bad. Switching to fresh food doesn't have to be scary. Switching to fresh food doesn't have to, be worrying to an owner, because a lot of the times those detox symptoms and those side effects don't happen. All I'm doing here is I'm talking to you about what could you potentially, expect if your dog is very sensitive. But if your dog is not very sensitive and you're going very slowly, your dog would do really well on fresh food. When you're switching to fresh food, it will be the best thing that you can give to your dog over time, because you will see in their health and you will see in their mood and their fur and their stools that everything is starting to be better. So that's why I kind of made this video to tell you that it doesn't have to be scary to switch to fresh food. And obviously you can switch to raw, you can switch to home cooked, or you can switch to pre-made food that you can buy online as a subscription. But look for the ingredients, make sure that it's all balanced. Contact me, a dog nutritionist, if you do want to learn how to balance your dog's food over time. And I hope you really enjoyed this video, and in future videos we will talk about specific diets and how to balance them over time. And over time, when we can do subscriptions to this channel where you pay and you get specific content for you, we will do specific videos just for you to get your fresh food balanced and ready for your dog to eat without any nutritional deficiencies. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, like, and comment what you'd like to see next, and I'll see you on the next one.